Hi there, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kate. The reason that I'm popping in is to bring one more metaphor to you. I just got home. I teach piano lessons, and I just got home from an adult student that I have from his piano lesson, and I really was struck with the synchronicity and the divinity of a profound lesson for me. And, I thought I would share it because insight is insight, and if it helps someone else, that's fantastic. It definitely helped me, and it seemed to help my student a great deal as well. Just to give you some background, he's an adult student about my age and had never really played as a child or anything. He took lessons, I don't know, quite some time ago, and actually studied for a year or so. And recently, his wife saw my ad in a paper or something and called me and said, yeah, he really wants to play. I don't know that he's very good. And, so anybody that's looking to learn more about music and I can teach them, that's definitely something that I want to hop on, because music changed my world. It has saved my life on numerous occasions, and it just really nourishes and feeds my soul. And because I'm an educator at heart, I want to share the knowledge I have. Then I really I very much get into teaching piano, teaching voice, teaching music, teaching a choir, and conveying my experience with music to other people, because it's brought such healing and joy to me. I want to share that with everybody. So that's my student. That he's a beginning student for all intents and purposes. He's a beginning student, even though he took for a year or so. It's been quite some time. So we've been working together for a couple months now, and we've had a couple of little hiccups in between, so not consistently. And I hadn't seen him for a couple of weeks, and I have to admit, this man there are certain roadblocks that students, piano students and voice students too, but let's just talk about piano, can hit whenever they don't quite understand a concept. And music is very much a building block concept that you really have to, foundationally, if you're going to teach someone to be completely proficient in music, and be able to work in that arena more than just learning how to play the one instrument, and we're going to learn by rote in that one song. I teach a lot of music theory. I teach the the foundational understanding, so that when my students aren't looking at their piano book, they're looking at any piece of music in the world that they're attracted to, and they can at a minimum, they may not be able to play it right away or ever. At a minimum, they will be able to tell what key it's in. They'll be able to name the notes. They'll be able to tell for themselves, can I play this? Do I have the ability to play it? Because, if someone looks at a piece of music and they just see notes all over the place, I couldn't possibly play that. Some of the more complicated things don't necessarily have a lot of different notes in it. So I really like to give my students the empowerment of, here's the legend on how to, use this map. And so this guy's been giving me some real challenges because he's not meeting those same roadblocks in the same way. So I'm having to retool and reschool and rejigger and rebear to meet the needs of my student, because he's asking questions that, and I had to go back and backtrack his logic about how he arrived there and ask him some probing questions without being, an interrogator or, squishing his joy of music, because the dude's into it. 404, thank you. He's into it, and I don't want to squish it. And yet, I'm thinking, how did he arrive there again? And I realized as I was watching his pattern of how he was arriving at his different conclusions, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So the job of the student is to come with the questions, whatever they are. And the job of the teacher is to jimmy jockey around that and find the answer, because when I consistently am getting the same type of roadblock with someone or a learning, I'm not getting it kind of thing, there's a vein with that. There's a thread. There's something we need to kind of explore that. Otherwise, I'm just collecting the man's money, wasting his time, and it's just no fun. Because tonight I was so excited because when he asked me the question, whatever it was, I didn't even remember. For half a second, I thought, didn't I, did he not understand this when I told him that, the last time? Or wait a minute, how did you play this without fully, and I realized, just be quiet, be quiet, let the man talk. And so listening, all right, Spirit, tell me, what can I do? And as I'm talking to him, it dawned on me, oh, that's what the deal is. I see. And so I said, what about that? And I said, never mind what we were doing, anything that you were doing before. Let's skip it, put a big old pause on that, a time out, that we're not doing anything that we were. We're going to kind of, scrub that mission entirely, and we're just going to work on these three things right here, these three tiny little things. That's it. But what was so profound about it was that once he reached his position of confidence, that's mostly what that issue was, is they said, oh, I don't play very well. That's the first time I met him. I don't really play very well. For taking so long, a year, I should be able to, No, I said, this isn't an audition of your piano skills, sir. This is an audition of you. As a person, whether we're going to be able to be good student and teacher, and we were, we are, because it seems like every time I meet this man, he offers me another opportunity to kind of dig in my teacher bag and go, wait a minute, hold on a second. Oh, okay. So the way that I can be more effective in actually helping my students reach their goal is to help them find the way that makes sense to them, that will lock it in to a metaphor, an understanding, a parable, an analogy, a comparison, something, a symbolism that will anchor into their mind something that they can recall that and experience it again until it's such a visceral part. He said, I guess you have muscle memory. I'm like, yes, but I've also been playing since, little, so it's a little bit different. I said, this is more of a cognitive muscle memory, because you're all grown up and we're not developing those finger muscles and trying to develop self-control and, patience and all of those things when we're little. I said, you already did all of that. So we kind of have to look at the piano lesson for the adult a little bit differently and be very kind with someone. He does not have a history of, being beaten down at the keyboard that I'm aware of, and he's certainly not going to catch it from me. But if somebody has a history, I had a very horrible voice teacher when I was in college. She was a troll and she was horrible. And I sang for Charles Wadsworth one time, and he was Beverly Sills' voice coach, among being, a bunch of other things, brilliant conductor. And I was blessed, very blessed and honored to be invited in my senior year of college to sing on a not just a master class for the man. He appreciated the talent enough that he said, yeah, I'd really like for you to sing on that chamber recital tonight. Would you please consider that? And I was like, wow, yes, I think I will. And I'm going to be super grateful and very honored that happened. There was no other singer that was invited. That was just me all by my lonesome. They had to reprint the programs and everything. So I was very, very, very excited. And I want you to know, a joy killer and a dream squasher. I allowed that woman to take me away from my music for quite some time, because after I got done, and it was a brilliant performance, I can say that because Divinity's good and Divinity's super talented, and they let everybody in that hall know it that night. That was not me. That was the glory of Divinity, the glory of God equation, the glory of music and profound experience in my spiritual and musical understanding of myself. It was a moment in a hall that was epic for me, and it was a moment of wasted epic on my teacher, who should have been one of the proudest people besides me. And that person, that the man, Charles Wadsworth, Dr. Wadsworth, we were very proud, and it should have been the next one in line, if not first in line, would have been my voice teacher, and she wasn't. She came up as I'm standing next to this, person that, Beverly Sills was my go-to girl whenever I was growing up watching Miss Piggy and Kermit, and she was on the Muppet Show. So, I was like, wow, I'm next to an angel, kind of, sort of, I'm sure of it. And that woman walked up and whispered in my ear and said, "You sang like a pig," and smiled. And because I didn't have any idea that I could say, "Excuse me," I'm there with the dichotomy of, here's this brilliant man and this not so brilliant troll who's whatever, jealous, I don't know, or just a joy squasher. That's not what I want to do to any of my students. Not ever, not one time. As a matter of fact, I pride myself on kind of being able to help the rehab students who've been through that, because I dropped my music because of a woman that told me I sang like a pig. I could not stand it anymore, that the pressure's too much. If I have to try to face the person that I'm supposed to be getting my musical nourishment from, and the hooker's gonna starve me and breadcrumb me as my teacher, I'm not gonna sing anymore. And now, I decided, okay, I learned how to be a rotten teacher. I learned how to be horrible and to disempower and completely squash another individual and their talent, regardless of how good or bad I think it is, which, 1111, thank you. Everyone is talented in something. Not everybody's talented the same way. Not everybody sings as well as I do, and I don't sing as well as others. So, it's a relative thing, and it's not a comparison shopping. And no matter what person sits down at a keyboard that I'm the instructor of that lesson, I'm not going to beat them up for whatever their ability is, whether they're great at the piano or they're not. The point tonight that I was so happy to watch this man reach was, he sat down, first of all, and he was a lot more confident. And then when he just started going, I said, just start banging keys, just start, the three that you can choose from, just start playing them randomly in any way that you want to, both hands, and then move that up, in little half steps, and just three of them, just three of them. I said, and if you get a little bored or, over the top and you want to be a little bit of an overachiever, I said, then do a couple more. But that's the way that we build that trust of, I'm not really sure that 12, I'm not sure that I can do this. And our mentors, our guides, thank you, they're gentle. When they're brutal, they're not of divinity. Those are not divine teachers. Thank you. That's not who I want showing up. And none of divinity has been cruel to me. The cruelest that's ever happened to me has come out of human faces, that you sang like a pig. I've never had an angel or a guide or any kind of power animal or anything else tell me some nonsense like that. So I was just so very happy for my student that he reached a place of just, freedom. And I said, did you see that? Do you feel that? And, he was just kind of caught up in it, like, wait a minute, am I doing this? And I said, hold up. I said, do you see this? Do you feel this? Is it just me? And he said, yeah, actually I do. And I had taken a picture of him the very first lesson, and I said, here, and I sent it to him. I said, there's your picture. You're going to want to look at it later. We'll take another one. And he said, I think I'm going to, video. And so I said, now would be a good time for you to go back and look at that video too and see the comparison, because I see that. And when we're in the throes of it, sometimes we don't see our own progress. And I'm still not sure that he fully understands that the next time you sit down at that keyboard, dude, you just, you're gone. You're like, you're at ludicrous speed, way down super highway where I'm not sure that you realize you arrived. So it's very exciting. And I'm going to end it now with thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. I hope you're having a beautiful part of your day, whatever part of the day you're in. And remember, get in your skin. If you get within your skin, you're divine, it's totally fine. And whatever it is that brings that out, whatever it is that brings your music, that brings your creativity, that brings your talent forward, if it's singing, if it's dancing, if it's art, if it's basketball, whatever it is that brings that excitement, that's what a mentor, a guide, and a teacher who really wants to empower his or her students, that's what we look for. So thank you very much, Divinity, for looking down at me with those kind eyes so that I can turn around and give those to another student and not return that favor of, what did you just say to me? I just sang like a whatever. I think I'll abuse my student now because I'm angry that my teacher was mean. Nah, time to stop the cycle. So 1444, thank you very much. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Take care and keep it in. Fly it tight, fly it high and tight. Yeah, and good night. Take care, friends. Good night.